Hi everyone, welcome back to another lesson here today. What we got going on for you today is we're going to be factoring. Factoring is something that's very scary for a lot of algebra kids, but in fact all it takes is a little bit of practice. In fact, everything just takes a little bit of practice before you get the hang of it. And factoring, all it is just the reverse of distribution. So you know, like when we see like x times 2 plus x. You know, you distribute. Okay, so I have a 2x plus x squared. All right, so this is just the reverse of distribution. So like I'm looking here, I'm like, okay, both of these have an x here, so I can take the x out because, you know, x and x. And then, so if I take the x out of here, I have a 2 left. If I take one of these, remember x squared is x times x. So I have one of those gone, so I'm left with 1, so plus x. See how we get back to where we were, where we started right here? So it takes us exactly back. That's why factoring is just like the reverse. So we just want to go ahead and do that in reverse. We're going to be doing the exact same thing here. So I'm looking here and I'm like, okay, both of these numbers, okay, they both have an x in common, so I'm going to take the x out first. You know, you don't necessarily have to do that first, but I'm going to take it out first. So remember, again, x squared is just x. So I take one of those out, and I'm still left with an x. So I have 156x plus, and I took that x out, so it's plus 13. Okay. Now let's see if I can take any more out. So if I take, I'm not exactly sure right now, but let's see if I can do 156 divided by 13. Does that work? Excellent. So 156 divided by 13, I can take a 13 out of both of these. So see here, like 156 divided by 13 and 13 divided by 13, it can go into them evenly. So I'm gonna bring the 13 out to join this. So 13 times x, that's 13x. And then 156x divided by 13, well, that was 12x. And then 13 divided by 13, well, that's 1. So this is your factored form. All we did was just take out the greatest common factor. And this is always where you want to start with any factors. So let's move on to our next one. Here, you have to do a little bit more work. So as I'm looking at it, okay, so like it's not exactly like my terms aren't that simple. So I'm going to do 6x times 3x, I'm going to get 18x. And then I'm going to do 5 times 3x, and I'm going to get 15x. Okay. So you can start it like that, or well, okay, let's start it like this. So, and I actually made a little bit of a mistake because x times x is x squared. Okay, so I'm actually going to do this problem two ways. I'm going to notice here that, okay, both of these have an x term, so I'm going to take the x out. And so I'm going to be left with 18x plus 15. And then I'm looking here at these, and I'm like, okay, 18, that can be divided by 6, but 15 can't be divided by 6, so let's go probably a little bit lower. 18 divided by 3, and 15 divided by 3. Oh, excellent, so both of those can be divided by 3, so 3 times x, that's 3x. 18x divided by 3, that's 6x. And then plus 15 divided by 3, so that's going to be plus 15 divided by 3 is 5. And again, if we distribute this again, we can get exactly back to where we were. So this equivalent expression. So that's one way to do it. Or, let me grab this problem again. Here we go. Or another way you can do it is just notice like, oh wow, this term has a 3x and this term has a 3x, so I want to take that out first. So I take that 3x out, and so this one, what's left? If I take a 3x out of this part, then I'm left with the 6x here. And if I take the 3x out of this part, then I have a 5 left. So 3x, and now there's nothing else to take out of here, but I did take the 3x out, and you see how we get to the exact same factored form? So two different ways to do this problem, but you get down to the same answer. Let's go ahead and move on to our next one. Alright, again, we gotta, like right here, like, okay, yeah, I could take a 3 out of both of these, but Let's see what else I could take out. Okay, let's just go through this piece by piece. Yes, I can distribute everything, but I'm actually not going to do that. I actually don't want to do that here, just because we want to work smarter, not harder. So first thing I'm going to notice is, okay, and I see an x plus 1, and this one's also being multiplied by x plus 1. I'm going to take that out of both of them. I'm going to bring the x plus 1 out here. And so what's left over here? So 6x plus 3. 6x plus 3. All right, so now, okay, there's nothing else to do over here, but this 6x plus 3, if I multiply, or both of these can be divided by 3. So see here, divide that one by 3, divide that one by 3. So we're going to factor inside this parentheses now in these terms. So I'm going to take a 3 out. So I'm going to take the 3 out, and I still have this x plus 1. And remember, every time you take stuff out, it's always going to be multiplication, but we're not going to distribute it. We want things as simple as possible. So 6x divided by 3 is going to be left with 2x, and 3 divided by 3 is going to be left with 1. So this would be my factored form for this problem. Remember always to work smarter, not harder when you're factoring. And we got one more problem coming up. Kind of a similar problem. I'm looking here at this x minus 6 and this x minus 6. What do I want to do with it? I want to factor it out all at once. So x minus 6. Alright, and what's left? So 3x. So I took the x minus 6 out of here. So 3x. And then what's really left here? Well, remember, there is an imaginary 1 right here. So it's going to say minus 1 still. And you can see that if I took this x minus 6, and I know this isn't really how distribution works, but if I took this x minus 6 and I multiplied it by 3x, that's what it would look like here. And x minus 6 and multiplied it by negative 1, then I would get this minus x minus 6 right here. So it really does get us back to where we were. Alright, so we're looking here and there's nothing else to do. I can't take any more out of the 3x minus 1. So that would be my final answer. So as you're working through all these problems, go ahead, give me a shout if you need some help. Always remember, my name is Mr. Hernandez, and I'm always here to help.